Oleksandr Usyk stops Rico Verhoeven in the 11th round, but oh my goodness, what a performance by Rico Verhoeven. Rico Verhoeven shocked the world, and Oleksandr Usyk's performance was just lackluster. Usyk's performance was something that we have never seen in a ring by Oleksandr Usyk. What performance was that? What was he doing? And Rico Verhoeven can be proud of his performance. The kickboxing community can be proud of their champion and the performance that he displayed tonight. Look, Oleksandr Usyk had a lot of problems in that fight, a lot of issues, and that is something that we have not come to expect from Usyk, because in many cases, Usyk has gone in there, takes a few rounds to work his opponent out, and then gets rid of them or outboxes them from there on. But what we saw was Rico Verhoeven doing something that Usyk has never seen before. Now, as you can see on your screen right now, this is my scorecard, and I had a lot of the rounds to Oleksandr Usyk. Now, I do understand that some people may have issues with my scorecard because a lot of people believe that Rico Verhoeven won most of the rounds. I don't think so. I think Rico did more than expected. So people think that he won, but I think, in my opinion, I think Usyk did the much better work in a lot of the rounds, and I think he landed the better shots with jabs to the body, to the head, and so forth. So I think Usyk was definitely winning this fight on points until the stoppage in round 11. However, Rico Verhoeven shocked me. I think Rico Verhoeven has shocked the world. I think everybody that will talk about this fight will talk about the fact that Rico Verhoeven did something that they never expected. I don't think anyone expected this. In my prediction video, I said that Rico is going to come unstuck. I said that Usyk is going to work Rico out in a few rounds, and then after that, Usyk will take over the fight and Usyk will dominate the fight. But it was a competitive fight. It wasn't really a fight where Usyk dominated every single round. No, Usyk was in there and he was finding it really difficult to deal with the style of Rico Verhoeven. And what style was it? Rico Verhoeven was really smart because he kept moving his hands so many times. His footwork was really good. He kept, coming in low. Although he's a taller fighter, he kept coming in low. And that gave Usyk a bit more issues, because when Usyk fight the likes of Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury, these guys fight really tall. So there's a tall target to hit. Whereas Rico Verhoeven made it really difficult for Usyk to hit the tall target because he came in low. And that was a puzzle that Usyk had to solve. And Usyk had a really difficult task dealing with someone like Rico Verhoeven in there. Rico Verhoeven's hand movement also gave Usyk a lot of issues. His hand movement was so mesmerizing that Usyk didn't know how to do. And I think in some points of the fight, Usyk was reluctant to exchange with Rico Verhoeven because he knew that he didn't know what to expect from Rico, because Rico comes in low sometimes, he comes in high sometimes, and then his hand is always moving. And then Rico likes to push Usyk on the back foot, on the ropes, and then start to go to work. So Usyk was not exactly aware or did not have the understanding of how to deal with that style. And the honest truth is that Usyk has not really come across a style that is so difficult to deal with. So credit to Rico Verhoeven and the team there, because they did a fantastic job of making sure that Oleksandr Usyk has a difficult time in the ring. Guys, that was a fantastic performance by Rico Verhoeven, because the expectation on his side was very, very low, because he was not fighting anybody. Like, Rico Verhoeven did not come into boxing and picked up a guy in the top 50 or the top 60. Rico Verhoeven came into boxing and picked out the number one guy. Oleksandr Usyk, coming into this fight, was the best fighter and is still the best fighter in boxing. Absolutely 100%. Oleksandr Usyk, in my opinion, is one of the best boxers we have ever seen in the sport. And to perform like that against Usyk, that is a great performance. Rico Verhoeven can be proud of himself. The kickboxing community can be proud of that performance. And the conversation of whether there should be a rematch or not, that is something that we can talk about in another video. But I think the performance of Rico Verhoeven definitely deserve maybe a rematch in the future. But then another talking point that people are talking about is the referee's decision to stop the fight. Now, I want you guys to tell me, was the referee's decision to stop the fight early? Did the referee stop the fight early, or did the referee stop the fight on time? Now, this was in the 11th round, and I think the clock had about 5 or 6 seconds left, and Rico could have survived the round. However, this is boxing, and what people don't understand is that one shot can be one shot too many. And Rico Verhoeven was hurt. He was on a canvas. He took the 8th round. He got up, but his eyes was dazed, and the referee was looking into his eyes. So there is an argument that the referee stopped this fight a bit early. However, maybe 1 or 2 more shots could be more damaging than we saw in the fight. So look, people can argue whether the referee stopped this early or not, but I want you guys to get in the comment section, as I said, and let me know, was the fight stopped early, or was it stopped right on time to save Rico to fight another day? Because maybe 1 or 2 more shots and Rico would never be the same after that. And boxing is really dangerous, so people need to take that into consideration. But that was a great performance. From round 1 to round 11, Rico Verhoeven did himself proud, because he came into round 1 and he knew that to have any success against Oleksandr Usyk, he had to push Usyk back. And Rico started doing the hand movement, doing the head movement, doing that foot movement. And it was really difficult for Usyk to work that out. But one thing that also happened in this fight is that Oleksandr Usyk was not the Oleksandr Usyk that we used to know. Usyk's head movement was there, but everything was off. Usyk was not circling around Rico Verhoeven. Usyk was not using his jab really well. Usyk was almost seemingly mesmerized by the style of Rico Verhoeven. Normally in boxing, people are being mesmerized by Usyk's style. But in this fight, Usyk was out there and he was being outthought. Usyk was out there and was having issues answering the questions that he's been asked by Rico Verhoeven. What a fight, what a performance by the Dutchman, and what a shock that is for the world of boxing, because on the live stream, I was telling people if Rico Verhoeven should win this fight, boxing was in trouble. Like, Oleksandr Usyk could not have lost this fight. This fight, by any means necessary, Usyk should win this fight. Because if he lost this fight, boxing would have been in serious trouble. And although Usyk won this fight, there are still questions that people are asking, because Usyk's performance was not good enough. Usyk's performance, people would argue did not deserve the win. And although I thought he won most of the rounds, as you can see on my scorecard, I just thought that Usyk had difficulties in every single round. Yes, he won the rounds, but he had difficulties in every single round. And that is where the talking point about this fight is going to be all week and over the next couple of months. So look, Oleksandr Usyk, lackluster performance. Rico Verhoeven, performance of his life, performance of his fighting career, and he can be proud of that. And now the question of whether Oleksandr Usyk should have the rematch with Rico Verhoeven or go on to fight Agit Kabayel is something that we're going to get into in a separate video. But for now, I am curious. I am interested to know what you guys thought about Usyk's performance and Rico Verhoeven's performance. Was it a fair decision for the referee to stop that fight? Get in the comment section and let me know what you thought about it.